Okay. So our first visit was George Dragich and and I've already forgotten other guy's name who demoed Panorama. And the big news was really EBSCO's new UI. Um, great things about accessibility and the availability of VPATs, how responsive they're going to be. Um, and it is available to preview now. And George gave us that URL, discovery.ebsco.com. And then you can switch over whenever you would like. I think he said just contact him or go to the admin menu to switch over to that UI. You won't need to update your links, but it's not quite fully rolled out as far as some of the specific subject facets. So like if you're in one of the nursing collections, they don't quite have all of that drilled down yet. So they are suggesting migration kind of beginning this fall. And then I think actually my note of suggested migration July 2024 was actually like, basically they're going to stop supporting the old UI next summer. But they're doing announcements on the EBSCO platform roadmap site, and you can demo, and we can always have a conversation as a group as well. If a few people are going to switch over, maybe we can find out how it goes. Canopy was our second one. And they have put together a 20% discount for WAC2Click institutions, and that quote is good until the end of this calendar year. However, she also said that the price is going up in July because they are adding more titles to the package. So that kind of remains to be seen how they're going to do that. But I mean, to be fair to them, they're not even a year into this package launch, I don't think. So yeah, they haven't done a lot of consortium deals as of yet. The big thing was if you have an existing PPU or PDA plan, you can keep it alongside the KBase subscription. They will prorate for the year. So if you want to start, April 1st, it will be prorated to the standard July 1 start that they're doing. So April, May, June, so 3 months. And the price is pretty good. We had, do note that on the quote spreadsheet, because she had her Seattle campuses listed slightly differently than I had them listed, we have 3 institutions whose quotes were not correctly lined up with, like, they were not lined up correctly with FTE, so their quotes are off. So if you're like, wait a minute, that's way off, let me know. There were 3 that were like, whoops. So that's Canopy, and I do have the link to that title list in here. Hello, little dogs. Although middle little dog is not that little. She gained 4.5 pounds. She's a total chunk. Chihuahuas are not supposed to be almost 19 pounds. Pretty sure the vet shamed Spencer yesterday. So she'll be going on a diet. Anyway, yeah, so that was Canopy. Lyrasis is another consortium that you could join, and membership fees are based on your library budget. I think most everybody would fall into the $730 annually tier, and then with that you get access to their content packages that they have discounts on. They also have their Lyrasis learning package that you'd get a discount on, and they of course have access to consultation and grants for members on just a really big scale. That Project Muse EBA package, we have just learned, will still be $1,000 next year. So when the sign up period opens, it will still be $1,000 for community college members. So that $730 annual membership. Oh my goodness, now it's Big Dog who's winning. And then $1,000 for the Project Muse, and you get 56,000 ebook titles. So that's a pretty cool deal on that one. The Palace project that Vanessa talked about, the ebook app that is provider neutral, publisher neutral. The Washington State Library is using it. And they have purchased some titles from Audible as well as ebooks in Kindle format, and then they have like the free open access titles, and then they have some regional history titles in there. So I downloaded the app, the Palace Project app. I got my state library card number, which you can apply for online and just get the digital number. So if you wanted to check out that interface at all, that's a way to do it. And then we had Rialto, and the Rialto demo, Jeff sent some notes afterwards. He just wanted to reiterate that this is it is a no cost add-on to Alma. It just comes alongside our existing platform and helps with the acquisitions process. So if you're using acquisitions, I think that it's probably very close to a no-brainer if you like talk to your stakeholders. If you are not, it would be a great way to start seeing how it functions and getting some data into acquisitions that is clean and like good. And the implementation team would turn on your acquisitions module for you, and then you would just have to attach a fund line with funds in it so that you can make the purchases. Implementation is, he said about 2 months out, but I suspect it's closer to 3, just because, I mean, nothing is ever 2 months with anything ProQuest Alma. And if you're interested, it is institution by institution. They just want you to like sign a letter of agreement that you're going to like best interest attempt to use it, because they are going to put in work to activate it. I have linked to the brochure here, so if you want to see that. I didn't really take notes because I was actually so like fascinated by the whole thing when I was seeing it. Yeah. And then Gale was Tuesday. Sarah and Hillary spoke to the group, and so the two like levels of support that are most helpful for us as academic institutions in Washington is the Washington State Library support page, and then the academic outreach team that Sarah is the head of. And on that support page from the state, for the state library, is where you can get the exportable list of the products and the ebooks with URLs. The toolbar at the top has technical documents that has like how they do their specific their specific usage stuff, because they have their own measures, but they also provide the counter. It's got all their VPATs. They've got some stuff on LMS. I think one of the great little tidbits that she shared, which I had to discover just by kind of poking around a lot at the time, was the 4 products to activate in Primo if you want to get most of the stuff findable. And not to say that it's perfect, but at least you won't have 30 different things activated. Is Informe Academico, the OneFile News, Academic OneFile, and General OneFile. There are a few resources, mostly reference content in each of the subject-specific disciplines. But if you include the direct URLs in subject guides or in your A to Z list tagged with those subjects, I would imagine that students who are specifically looking at culinary arts or criminal justice are likely, or at least, you know, can be pointed to finding those resources directly through the database. And at least with those 4 collections activated in Primo, the problems that we see are not repeated 40 times. So that's kind of the summaries of all of those. On our YouTube page, I have uploaded almost, I think, everything but Tuesday. So I'm pretty caught up. So you can see mine, I've been calling open calls, whereas the ones that were still Wade led, I have titled them Alma Primo, and then it's the date. And when at all possible, as I upload them, Isabella, I've tried to put in a description. I'm going to be working on like making those better. So you can see we've got the Rialto demo in here, the Lyricist one in here, the EBSCO with the panorama in here. And if you go to our channel, everything is in the open calls playlist. So, and you can see what I save when I'm in here as a user. But yeah, so if you go to our channel, you can see all of these. If you go to the website, I have it almost entirely up to date with our Alma Primo calls. So only week-ish behind. So the date goes to my Google Doc with the notes, and then the recording goes to the YouTube channel. I did get every meeting that has a recording is in here. And then I'm still working on last quarter, all of the meeting notes, getting those in here. So slowly but surely, this is coming together here. So our upcoming ones, JSTOR has not confirmed whether they will be joining us the 7th or the 9th, but it will be the 7th or the 9th. And that is going to be Greg Bodkin, and he's going to be talking about they are completely changing. Oh my goodness, stop. They're completely changing their access models following the pandemic and the realization that people need content at not the prices. And of course, they're also working on moving ArtStore content onto the JSTOR platform. So he'll be talking a lot about that. They've not made an official announcement on this new access model, but guys, it is awesome. So they have been allowing free archival content access since the beginning of the pandemic, and that goes until June 30th. They are now going to make available to community colleges every single archival collection. So the arts and sciences 1 through whatever, the business, the science, the life sciences, biologic, all of those, for a flat rate with no initial purchase cost. So it'll just be subscription. And almost all of our institutions fall into the tier that will be, are you ready for it? $2,600 a year. So our, like, a few folks, because they only subscribe to like one thing, if they want to go to this package, will pay more. But a lot of folks will be paying considerably less. So this is just super cool and like supports my dream of all of our students having access to the same resources regardless of what college they're enrolled at. So anyway, very excited. And
Can
then
you say that one more time, Carly? Because in the background, I'm trying to deal with the fact that South's website is down. So please say that again.
Okay, so all of the JSTOR archival collections are now going to be available in a single subscription package with no like upfront purchase setup fee. And most of our institutions will fall into the pricing tier of $2,600 a month.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I do have like the full spreadsheet if anyone is just like dying to find out how much, which tier they fall into before that call in March. But I'm thrilled. I'm actually kind of hoping, like, could this be a thing where, because we've got people who are paying so much more currently, could this be a thing where the consortium steps in and we look at the price for everyone to get it, and basically either if new subscribers would come in at the 26, but then current subscribers, if they're above or below, we'd step them toward their price over the next couple of years, so that if someone is going from $1,000 to $2,600, it's not as severe. And then if someone is currently paying $5,800 and is going to drop down to 26, they're kind of supporting the transition for everybody. I don't know. That's a real wild dream, considering we barely manage the billing on Ex Libris. But if we could somehow figure out how to fund, like do it for everybody, that would be really just neat. But that's probably not a discussion for us. The Library Leadership Council is meeting March 3rd, and I will be at that meeting. So in the next week or so, if you have things that you would like brought to that group's attention, more kind of like anonymously through me, please let me know. I'm just going to give them an update on what we've been doing and learning and opportunities and such like this. Okay, sorry, JSTOR. And then after that, we've got the Gale Discovery meeting, where we will have that product manager for Discovery come in, and she's going to talk to us in a lot more detail about the Gale records and the, and what that looks like in Primo and how to get things to look good. Maybe we'll get some of that support that Sarah was talking about on like building the individual collections of the EDI ebooks and things like that. So that'll be good. Definitely bring your questions. If you've got questions ahead of time, please let me know, and then we can have stuff ready. And then in April, so now we're really kind of looking a ways out. We're going to have an Alma Sandboxes. When our 3 sandboxes kind of were created, they were kept around as one per implementation cohort. And then based on the notes I can see from Wade, he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead and keep using the one you've been using, but also it doesn't matter, use whichever one you want. Here's like 50 different user names and passwords, but then make your own username or password. So what I have asked from them is that they give me some guidance on some best practices around shared consortia sandboxes, and then some cleanup ideas and some policy ideas so that we can have a refresh, because these sandboxes have not been cleaned up or refreshed back to, like standard in a couple of years at least. And then we can kind of like put out the best practices and say, okay, this sandbox is going to be for our multi-campus, multi-fulfillment unit institutions. And then this one is going to be for our super, super tinies, or like, I don't know what that looks like. But she's going to talk to some experienced product people about how different consortia are using multiple sandboxes and how we can really get the most out of them, and make sure everyone is using them in a way that is helpful, that everyone knows how to use them, why we use them. So I'm excited. And if you have questions, she was like, please like gather questions ahead of time. I mean, we've got 2 months, so it doesn't have to be today, but she was like, gather questions ahead of time, because that way, if we get, multiple questions on the same thing, I can address those. But I think it's going to be a great opportunity to kind of delve into something that we haven't gotten to spend much time on. And then I would love to keep bringing in folks to, get us up to speed on things, to give us support on things. So I'm kind of like, just like, hey, what do you want? Hein Online is, I don't know how many people have subscriptions, but they are an extremely reasonably priced, downright cheap alternative to LexisNexis, Westlaw, as I think of them as like the evil empires of data. Hein Online is family owned. They remain single headquarter, just providing content, and their academic package provides like all of those law journals that criminal justice would need, the Supreme Court stuff, the federal court stuff. They have a Washington law package, although the Washington law package, I think, that is provided through the state library is probably working for those of you who have criminal justice programs. But if you're interested in finding out more about Hein Online, maybe we could bring them in. I've been having discussions with people about, easy proxy self-hosted versus cloud hosted. So maybe we want to get an easy proxy person in here. Several people have subscriptions to Oxford content. Maybe we want to get them in there. Newsbank, since they were a Washington database for a while, maybe we want to bring them back in. They're still pretty small. They're not owned by any giant conglomerate. They're a subsidiary of oh gosh, what is it, guys? Redex, primary sources. So Newsbank or Redex, but their Newsbank was a great product, but I'm not sure that it was super polished enough at the time that the state picked it up. There have been a lot of lib chat issues lately with widgets and embedding, and so like maybe we want Sarah Pate from the state. She's the AskWA person, to come in and talk to us about how you can use the LibAnswers platform that the state has, how to set up a new widget, how to edit widgets, or maybe you would like an update from what's going on with the state database licensing project. I could reach out to Will. Maybe there's some other lib apps that you would like a little support on. Several institutions do go through Orbis Cascade on some content subscriptions. So, maybe having Jamie or Jesse from Orbis Cascade come in to talk about what they're doing with e-content right now could be helpful. Yeah, I mean, anything. Yeah, just let me know. I will be heading to eLuna, so I'll be very excited to come back with all kinds of crazy ideas and tutorial ideas and programming ideas and everything else in the world. And I'm hoping, I need to nag them a bit because it's been a week, that we will be able to announce formally how many and how much the consortia will be able to support some travel to eLuna. We're going to do a number of set amount support sponsorships, I'm calling them, and we'll just have like a quick application. Are you presenting? Is it your first time? What's your role? Why do you want to go? Do you have funding for the remainder of the cost? These kinds of things. And then I and the executive board, if we have more applications than number of sponsorships, will kind of make some decisions on how we can help distribute some funds. So yeah, but I just got to get the exec board to like actually respond to an email and vote to let me announce that. So that's kind of what I have. I'd also be interested in hearing like some topic ideas for some coming meetings. We've got like the spring break coming up. We've got a lot of institutions. I think there's like, it's about 3 weeks where pretty much everybody concentrated spring break. And I just figured that might be a good time to pause these meetings, get some one-on-ones, get help. Gives me time to plan out our April, May, June meeting topic. So I'd love to hear today, in addition to any guests, if there are any like topic requests for the rest of the school, like until June. I kind of like to plan a quarter at a time. So yeah, floor is open. Questions, comments, ideas. I will I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna make sure I can see chat, which I see has been very, oh, okay. URL, the archival content. Do you want the list of that JSTOR? Okay, thank you, Tria, for the JSTOR list. Yes, spreadsheet. Oh, congrats, Melinda, on your accepted eLuna presentation. Okay, Melinda asked, anyone heard more about Knowledge Days program? So I just attended the Ex Libris annual meeting info session. So you want to learn more thing yesterday. And they have not officially released the pricing on Knowledge Days. They did say in the meeting that it is going to be 9 to 4 Monday and Tuesday. They will have different tracks based on, you know, the type of role that you have in the library. And there's going to be 30 some odd different sessions that you can attend. Okay, cool. Sorry, still scrolling through the presentations. Congratulations all. Let me see real quick. I feel like they did actually send us a link to some info on Knowledge Days. Let me just see if I have it. I don't care about the actual presentation. I want the agenda. Okay, I'm going to share again. So here's the preview that they gave us. So there's these 4 tracks. And it really sounds like the analytics one is just an in-person version of their Become an Analytics Expert series. The Primo V one, I'm real torn between the Alma stuff and the Primo V stuff because I just have less experience with Primo V. But these were some of the session things that they talked about. There's a few double sessions, which I wasn't sure that either of these would apply to us. But so like, here's their sneak peek of Knowledge Days and the fact that it was all day Monday and Tuesday. I'm not flying in until like Monday midday. So I don't know. I just don't
Change
know.
your flight.
I'm already leaving at like 7:30 in the morning, and kids, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then otherwise they just kind of linked us to the site. So because I had planned it thinking, oh well, Developers Day starts midday on Monday. It like, wouldn't it make sense that, yeah, give people a chance to get into town? So yeah, and I don't think they've added, yeah, they still haven't added the Knowledge Days registration. So I'm just like waiting on registration because I got my hotel and flights.
The Knowledge Day registration is on a different page.
Oh, well, that's so helpful. Where is it? Is it under events?
It just has the rates. So if you go to just click on eLuna 23 annual meeting. And then scroll down to the bottom, you can see the cost. It's significantly more expensive actually for Knowledge Days.
Oh
Yeah, that's usually because it's Ex Libris trainers doing it. So Ex Libris is charging us for the training, basically.
That makes sense.
Kirsty, you've done this, and I know there's been some listserv discussion. But like, what is your thought on Knowledge Days versus Developer Day?
So having done both, my take is Knowledge Days is really, really helpful when either your institution is new to Alma Primo, or you personally are new to Alma Primo and you need some like good in-depth training. If you've been dealing with Alma Primo for a few years, like it might not be that helpful unless you've had new duties added to your work, right? Like that, the fact that they have that whole big track on Primo VE, that looks very useful to me because we've never really done a lot with Primo VE. But yeah, like if you feel relatively comfortable with the available online trainings and with your own skills and your support from colleagues, then you probably don't need to do knowledge days. Development days is all really, really short presentations. If you're doing any kind of systems librarianship, development days is fantastic because it's all really, really practical stuff and it's all done by other librarians and library staff. And it's a
Okay.
lot cheaper than knowledge days.
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking at, so developer day and annual meeting, $775,
Oh, and
whereas even just for one day of knowledge days, so if I just did Tuesday, it would be 1,100.
and I'll also throw, oh, hold on just a sec. I'll also throw out the one time pre-COVID that I went to development day, developer days, whatever it is. One of the presenters was one of the folks from Belgium. I think it was Francois, and he brought Belgian chocolates for everybody, and they were so good.
Well, I'd be curious, and I'd love it if we, folks attending, if we kind of maybe, I don't know, if y'all like Slack or Discord or WhatsApp, but maybe we get a group together so we can, hit what we're interested in, but also not over concentrate somewhere and miss out on something. But we got some time. Spoiler alert, second to spreadsheets, I get real excited about conferences. So, but yeah, this presentation thing that they did, where did this? So like they're having, everyone who's attending will be sent a COVID test. And or there's going to be COVID tests available and you have to do it like when you go to the registration table, you'll be given one, and then before you attend any like actual sessions. So yeah, but it was, this was an interesting session. And then Kirsty, what's the like social vibe of it?
It's honestly not that different than the conference. It's,
Is the conference very social?
It's in a conference room. Yeah, it's in a conference room. It's not online training in the sense of they're not going to have like workstation set up. Like you can bring your own laptop and they might have some examples for you to do, but at least pre-COVID, it was almost like a conference presentation, but just done by Ex Libris staff. And developer days is that's also got a really nice vibe. Everyone is really friendly, very helpful, very sociable.
Okay. And it sounds like most evening stuff ends 4 or 5 o'clock. There's the opening reception Tuesday night. Is this like Nerd Fest hangout in conference rooms like
Yes.
doing stuff
Yeah,
afterwards?
the evening stuff is, from my perspective, is worth doing. I've met some really good people at the evening events, made some good friends, like, and even down the road, they've been able to help me and I've been able to help them with stuff. You know, and we're all librarians and library staff, and so we like each other and we like to be friendly and we like to help and share, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
so I
cool.
definitely recommend, if you're going, go to the evening stuff.
Okay. Yeah. My best friend, literally works in the building next door to the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm like, "Ah." Like, we both have kids, you know, and he lives a million miles away and it's been
You can
COVID.
come.
And so I'm
They're-
like,
they're not checking badges at the door or anything.
yeah, I mean, we could not be more different in what interests us, but I mean, he would nerd out with me. He's pretty nerdy.
I,
But
but
yeah,
I think the one in Spokane, I played Cards Against Humanity in the with some Ex Libris staff on the first night. Like
fun. I will totally be
at
bringing
the social
games.
pool.
I'm a big, compact, multiplayer game person. That will be most of my carry-on. Not lying. That's how I roll. Sorry, that was bad. I don't even like that many dice games. Woo, yeah, okay. Yeah, so conference, I will hopefully be getting to make an announcement that we can support some of your travel. And it'll just kind of be like straight cash reimbursement to your institution. And then, does anyone have ideas for other, you know, like vendors to bring in, or you know, content support, or like ideas for some meeting stuff for the spring quarter? And you can always email me later and let me know if you have an idea. I'll be developing some things based on tickets that we've got open with me. I'll probably review our Ex Libris tickets. Might do a dashboards check-in on what I'm working on. So yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and stop the recording, and then